like we are live. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Cerebral Spice Rack. We are here for our next episode. We're gonna be talking all about big tech and the leftist policy on all this stuff. Basically just wanted to get our opinions out there and get you guys a good idea of what's been going on with all this stuff because there's been a lot of censorship of conservative talking points and opinions, so we really gotta get it out there. But anyways, I'm gonna share this real quick, so give me a second. I'm gonna let my people introduce themselves really quick. So if Harry, you wanted to start.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Harrison. I go as Big GHARZ. I am event coordinator for DJ from where I am in San Luis Obispo. Talking about how they censor artists in general, and I don't know, more or less post about certain subjects in the music industry.
All right, we'll go with Chris. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Chris. I am a huge gun rights activist and liberty warrior, I guess you could say. I am here today on the podcast to advocate for freedom of speech and the promotion of freedom exchange of idea, and an avid critic against its cancellation.
Awesome. And Brody, we'll go over to you.
My name is Brody. As a profession, I'm an IT specialist. I also DJ and produce with Harrison quite a bit. As far as where I am with this censorship, you able to hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. As far as censorship goes, the reason that it's something that I really, believe in or not believe in, I guess you would say, is the fact that I feel like a lot of our rights are being taken away from us, and we're basically using the idea of big companies, being a business and being able to do what they want as a scapegoat to take away our rights. So that's where I'm at.
Basically. And I'm Everett Heath, the host here at Cerebral Spice Rack, and we're going to get right into it. So we're going to start with our first link here. We're going right into the Aunt Jemima thing that happened a while ago where Aunt Jemima actually got taken off shelves, so the company got rebranded. So basically, here's the story once it decides to load here. So, Aunt Jemima brand to change name, remove image that Quaker says is based on a racial stereotype. So they say, we recognize Aunt Jemima's origins are based on a racial stereotype, adding that the movement is an effort towards progress on racial equality. So basically, what they're doing here is a lot of people brought up the fact that, there's an African American on the branding and of Aunt Jemima. Sorry guys, it's the first time I've been back in a month and a half, so forgive me if I'm a little slow, but anyways, they took her branding off of their syrup basically, and it's a form of censorship, a form of self-censorship that's kind of sad because we had a prominent African American, and this is a real person, Nancy Green, who they based this on, being taken off of the imagery. And so I just wanted to read a little bit through here. So they said we must also take a hard look at our portfolio of brands and ensure they reflect our values and meet our consumers' expectations. They basically make the argument that she was based on a racial stereotype, and their argument is that the name Aunt Jemima, it comes from an old saying that the owner of Quaker or whoever made the Aunt Jemima brand, they got it from it's basically a saying for like slave labor, for like or previous slave labor. I'm probably not explaining it the best, but basically that's why they wanted it gone. And I would sort of agree with them because if it is truly racist language, then we probably should get rid of it. But the image is based on a real person. This is history that we're talking about here. Nancy Green, and we'll pull up her. We'll pull up her Wikipedia really quick because she was a real person. This is history, and I just want to read you guys a little bit of what she was about because she was a very important person in my opinion. To food and to advertising in general. So Nancy Green, she was a former slave, nanny, cook, activist, and the first of many African American models, to promote a corporate trademark as Aunt Jemima. And this is the outstanding part, is that Aunt Jemima was not her recipe, but she became the advertising world's first living trademark. So she was the first living person that they used the likeness of on this branding. So when they got rid of Aunt Jemima on, from the syrup, they're removing the history of her. They're removing the complete history of how she came to be, as a prominent figure in as the syrup branding, and it's kind of sad that we're just, erasing history and erasing somebody's branding on the image, I would say that maybe remove the name Aunt Jemima and change it to Aunt Green, but don't remove her complete likeness, because you're just erasing history. But anyways, what you guys thoughts on that?
You know what? That makes me think of the modern term of the name Karen. Like, people really don't like people named Karen, and it's like a stereotype that's made out of a modern meme. So, I don't know. I feel like most people you would meet named that, or are a nice person, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of came to mind. But or like a how you have like a Southern stereotypes, like comedians, like they always say like, "How you doing, Cletus?" Like
Mm-hmm.
more or less, like you're always gonna have some sort of
like stereotype kind of thing.
yeah, and more or less like they branded it at a time, not knowing that, because it was just normal.
Yeah, obviously, you have to, forgive them for not having our modern, morals and not our modern moral compass. But still, like, I think they make a good argument for maybe changing the name Aunt Jemima, like I said. But I don't think they should remove the complete
Maybe the
likeness.
name, but not the logo, not the picture of herself.
Yeah, image. Yeah.
Like that's like it's just defacing history.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right.
Exactly, and that at the same time that white branding, the Quaker guy, the bald white dude that has the cleaning products, I can't remember right now, Brawny, they have all these white brandings that get to stay around, but while at the same time things like Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, the Rice, and the girl from the Land O'Lakes, they're all getting erased, and it's like, it's a minority representation on branding, and maybe change up the stereotypes that they came from, but don't erase them completely, But anyways, do you guys have anything else to add on that?
I mean, I just thought oh, sorry, you can go, Chris. That's fine.
For me personally, I think one of the things about that in particular that perplexes me is how a group of individuals who actively seek for more and more representation of the minorities of America, just constantly working against their best interest in the pursuit of social justice. I don't know why they would feel that would somehow, embetter the conditions to which they're actively claiming to fight against. Why the renaming of a syrup bottle is one of the biggest objectives of the social justice warriors of today. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it just perplexes me. Like, why would you undermine your own interest at promoting more representation for notable figures of American history in the pursuit of what a small minority of the population, ideological minority of the population are saying? I just, I don't understand why they would
It's such a big
capitulate
deal.
to that. Like, what's even in it for them to do so,
Just a quick add-on at the end. I mean, I could see, because I don't know where they even came up with the name Aunt Jemima. Like, the naming I can kind of understand, but why take off the picture and not just rename it?
Aunt Green, something like that, and they just completely removed her from history, which is kind of sad. But
I would even go as far as to saying that even despite wherever the origin of the name came from, as sordid as it can be, there's not millions of people who really even know of anything relating to the syrup. So I think I think it's yet another attempt to try and exacerbate racial tension, and just try to get people up in arms over essentially nothing.
Exactly. That was another point I wanted to make, is that people aren't, when they bought Aunt Jemima, they're not looking back to the racial stereotypes and thinking, oh, I'm a slave landowner for buying this syrup. No, they're making pancakes, and they have a nice branding that features an prominent African American woman, and they just erase it. But anyways, we're gonna
Right.
keep.
Nobody was thinking that with on the Splash Mountain ride. They had to completely reconfigure and rewrite everything regarding the Disneyland ride. It's like nobody was thinking of the origin of the song and the racial overtones and whatnot. Like no reasonable human was thinking that.
No, exactly. But yeah, we're gonna keep moving on here to the next link. We got a good amount to get through here. But the next thing we want to talk about, which wasn't too big of an issue for me, but obviously I think most of you guys heard about it. A couple weeks ago, Dr. Seuss, the publisher of Dr. Seuss, they said that 6 of their books they will no longer be publishing because of racist and stereotypical images. And in my opinion, I think they have, they're in every right to do that. It's their company, it's their, it's their books. So, I can't really tell them what to do with their own property. But the thing I do disagree with is where libraries and bookstores across the country are now banning the books, because that's when you start to get into the kind of digital book burning that we're going to be talking about in this episode. That's really what's happening, and this is just goes along with the aspect of it's erasing history. We should keep these books out there to show children, this is a racial stereotype, this is not good. But keep it out there so we can show children and other people, how not to act, or how not to be, But don't, digitally destroy the books and take them off from everywhere to make them impossible to get to, because, you're just going to force them, into a corner, basically. But, it's not too big of a deal. They're just Dr. Seuss books, but that's my opinion on it. What about you guys?
So are most of these like these controversial issues, are they necessarily the wording, or is it just the pictures?
So I looked up a few on this. In some of the books they depict Africans as as like pure black with big lips, and it's pretty stereotypical imagery, which I can understand they would want to not publish. But maybe they could have taken a different route in maybe changing the imagery. But then at that point you're changing what Dr. Seuss intended. But at the same time, they're stereotypical images, so it's I can see why they did it, but at the same time, I don't agree with why or completely getting rid of the books everywhere on the internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's just the pictures that are causing controversy, then rather than pull the whole book, I mean, if they own the rights to these books, why don't they just change the pictures?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I said.
Hold the overall meaning, but anyways, that's what I got.
Yeah. Did you guys have anything else to add, Harry or Chris?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're well within their ability to archive, any material they find to be insensitive to the standards of modern day society. It's just that this isn't a new standard. That's the thing. I think a lot of the conservative pundits do a disservice by saying it's a group of mobsters that are coming together to have made this possible. I think it's really important to know the facts and circumstances regarding why this particular decision is being made. I think that's the first thing important to really getting a strong footing of understanding of this whole culture type war. But for the most part, I don't understand why they would feel the need 30 years after the death of the man who authored these books. Now is the time to dishonor his works. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just it's kind of beyond me, but that's kind of generally my input on the matter.
Do you have anything to add, Harry?
Not necessarily. I also heard, just like on top of this, they're trying to get rid of the bunny from, like, the girl bunny from Space Jam.
Oh yeah, Lola and Pepe Le Pew and all of them, like
or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, there are. Well, I mean, they didn't get rid of Lola, but they obviously kind of desexualized her, which is honestly what these what the Dr. Seuss publishers should have did. You know, they changed the imagery to make it less offensive, I guess. And yeah, I guess that offended some people because they liked the more sexualized version. But as long as you can still have the image there, then that's better than completely erasing it. You know, although that's kind of a small issue. But anyways, we're gonna keep.
I don't believe in the erasure of history. So.
Exactly. It's censorship is all bad. Everything should be left up to be challenged if it's bad. It shouldn't be deleted and just burned from the internet. You know, because you don't get to see that history. You don't get to see what's wrong about it. You know, and tell people what's wrong about it. But anyways, we're gonna keep on going here with the next one, it gets pretty serious here with a documentary from Justice Thomas, a Supreme Court, a sitting member of the Supreme Court who's African American. One of his documentaries got pulled. So anyway, Amazon pulled Justice Clarence Thomas documentary as censorship of conservative content continues. So basically, the documentary film about Thomas, created equal Clarence Thomas in his own words, was removed from Amazon's streaming service last month, and the filmmaker said he was never given an explanation. Basically, he's Justice Thomas. He's one of the most prominent African American figures in politics. He's conservative, and I feel like that's why they got rid of his documentary, because it gives a viewpoint that they do not want younger African Americans to see. They don't want a prominent African American figure who is prominently conservative, because that would give them more credence to believe in those kind of things, which is just kind of ridiculous. Because I think this is just my opinion, but I really do believe that this leftist kind of just radical sense is they want African Americans to believe a certain set of politics agenda. And a certain agenda, exactly. And if they don't believe that agenda, then they're not black. I mean, you saw this with Joe Biden. He said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. It's their whole kind of ideology. Like, you have to believe certain things if you're African American. I don't see anything as more racist than that. If you're a person, you should be able to believe whatever you want. The skin color shouldn't have anything to do with it. Yet this stuff like this happens where they just completely throw off a prominent African American figure's documentary for there's no explanations. Obviously, well, not obviously, but we can guess with a very strong thought that the reason he got removed is because of his conservative beliefs. But anyways, what would you guys have to say on that?
So this is a little bit more broad of an issue, but what I was wondering is, can we, let's say if it's like a newspaper and an article comes out, it's freedom of speech, right? Like it's not like people can just pull that back. Once it's out there, it's out there. So why if you can put out whatever through a newspaper, then why can't you just put out stuff through social media or Amazon? I don't really understand the whole freedom of speech line. It's very gray right now, because we don't really know whether to let companies do what they want, or I don't know. Sorry, I mean that's a little off topic, but
yeah, we'll actually get into that with Section 230 and whatnot. But yeah, you're definitely on the right lines there. Did you guys have anything to add, Chris or Harry?
Yeah, I stepped away for about a minute. Who exactly is this pertaining to?
So this is Justice Thomas. One of his documentary was pulled from Amazon. No explanation. Basically, did you have anything to add on prominent black figures? Documentary being pulled for no reason from a big tech website?
I think it's more or less because he's conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want to see conservative black men thriving in a political in the United States. It's like if more people with a racial following like that could get power, then it could disrupt the liberal agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the leftish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll go to the next one here. Keep rolling through these. And this goes to another Amazon story where they pulled a book down. So let me get into it here. So, best-selling controversial book on transgender people removed from Amazon 3 years after publication. So basically, the author, he had his book pulled down, And he says here, we need to respect the dignity of people who identify as transgender, but without encouraging children to undergo experimental transition treatments and without trampling on the needs and interests of others. And I don't see anything really that radical about that statement. That's a pretty moderate statement. You know, obviously he has his opinion, but it's not some sort of radical kind of thing. You know, he's just he's given his beliefs and his opinions backed up by fact that that you know, children shouldn't be, you know, I think that's his biggest argument, is that children shouldn't be having to undergo these experimental transition treatments. But he continues to say, so 3 years after its publication, the very same week that the House of Representatives is going to ram through the radical transgender bill, Civil Rights Act of 1964, Amazon erases my book opposing gender ideology from their cyber shelves. And he says, make no mistake, both big government and big tech can undermine human dignity and liberty, human flourishing, and the common good. And I completely agree with him, because I think it was completely targeted. It was a, you know, he has a certain set of beliefs, and they targeted those set of beliefs. I mean, you go look up this stuff on Amazon, freaking the Justice Thomas doc, it'll send you to a complete opposite ideology, like I don't want to look it up because it's taken my internet's being a little slow. But and then you look up this. If you look up his book, When Harry Became Sally, it'll come up with a book that promotes transgenderism, which is, you know, you can see their freaking agenda here. They're trying to push a certain agenda, and when people are looking up what they want to know, or you know, something that provides an argument on a certain side, they're not going to be able to find it, and instead they're directed towards stuff that's the exact opposite, which is fucking insane to me. And I think it's very clear what they're trying to do. But anyways, do you guys have anything to add on that?
It's like a very confusing topic, because it's kind of been a thing that's been introduced to us as we've grown up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it was kind of first like the, you know, LGBT right thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then it was, you know, added the transgender on the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of the time, anything our generation would look up, they just look something up on Google and it's the first page of whatever they look up, they will click on and kind of go off of that basis instead of diving a little bit deeper, maybe looking up more facts based on like in a different perspective on like a transgender, you know, like
yeah.
what
And
if someone was experiencing the total other side of like, oh, I kind of want to be a girl, but like need some like more or less
needs an opposing argument, you know, to balance things
I
out.
was saying, like, I don't know, what if someone just needs to talk to somebody instead of like going through a whole physical development and changing their whole body? It could be something simple as that, instead of like a whole lifestyle change, which is opposed. Yeah, I don't know.
My
Kinda
whole
that
issue.
street there.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Brody.
You're fine. Go.
My whole issue with this whole thing is, why is this even, why is this even a topic? Why is this something that has to be controversial? Why can't people just, like why does this have to be tied in with government or censorship or anything? Like, people should just be able just to do whatever they want or believe what they want. You might not have to agree with what they believe, but you can't tell people also how to think, you know? I mean, that's...
Exactly.
That's the line for me. I mean, again, another kind of broad spectrum, but like it's just it gets under my skin a little bit. So.
Oh, definitely, me too. They're trying to erase a whole, section of opinions from the internet right now, and I think we're making a good argument for that point. But did you have anything else to add, Chris, to this one? We'll go to the next little piece of information, next little article that we got. So big tech, and this is just an opinion piece, so I didn't want to talk too much about it, but big tech is also censoring religion, and I just wanted to pull out one little excerpt from this. So consider LifeSite News, a popular religious news website. In February, its YouTube channel was permanently banned by Google, which deleted all of its videos. Google claimed its action was in response to a COVID-19 misinformation, but wouldn't tell Ellison which video had offended its standards. And this goes right back to what we've been seeing with with Amazon. They don't tell their conservative people that are putting up products what they're being banned for, or what exactly they're being banned for. It's just a general ban. They're just getting rid of them because they don't follow their same ideology. And that's just one little thing I wanted to bring up. Did you guys have anything to add on religious sites and whatnot being banned from social media sites?
To answer your last topic, because I froze out a little bit, look up gender dysphoria in the DSM-10. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna keep rolling through these here, because that one isn't too big. But this next bill is actually pretty crazy. So I read about this a couple weeks ago, and it just seemed really crazy. So basically, California bill proposes removing cops who express religious or conservative beliefs, and they excuse themselves by saying it claims to combat the infiltration of extremists in our law enforcement agencies and would mandate a background check for all officers who have exchanged racist and homophobic messages. And you can, with the legislature, they can pretty much dictate what they want to mean, or what they want racist and homophobic to mean. Maybe just using the insult, calling something gay. Maybe that's all it takes. Calling something gay, and then you don't get to be a cop. And they're throwing out all your ability to become a cop, basically. And the bill defines hate speech as advocating or supporting the denial or constitutional rights of, the genocide of, violence towards any group, persons based on race, ethnicity, nationality, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or disability. And this explicitly targets conservatives because obviously conservatives are more on the line of gender is binary. There's no there's not 100 genders. That's their opinion, and this targets them. If you have that belief, then by this bill you probably won't be able to become a cop, which is fucking ridiculous in my opinion. Because you should be able to have normal conservative liberal beliefs as long as in the Overton window, or even if it's not in the Overton window of beliefs. You should be able to think things and not be able, or you shouldn't have those beliefs be a requirement to either have a job or not be hired for a job, basically. But did you guys have anything to add to that? I know you had something to add, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. This is kind of one of the first moves of a strong footing in the woke police of California. Just eliminating anybody of a given political or ideological consent and keeping it as a homogeneous body of one particular ideologue. They're obviously trying to chip away, or trying to carve a very specific kind of mantra of political thought into the enforcers of law in the state of California. Somebody who would do the bidding of the socialist type government in the state of California with little hesitation.
Basically, they're just trying to get all their ideologues into the enforcement, like you're saying. And once they have the enforcement wing locked down, the legislative wing locked down, the judicial wing locked down, we are in a one-party state, my dudes, and it is not fun. It is not fun having a dissenting opinion. I would much rather be in a state where there was, robust partisan, or not robust partisanship, but robust bipartisanship, I guess I could say. Where people actually work together instead of one party just ramming through everything they want and having no challenges, because that's, we're on the path to China. China is a one-party system, and there's no dissent there. If you talk out, like you saw in our last episode, the China episode, if you talk out against the government, you got freaking organs harvested. You get disappeared. So, if anything we can do to stop ourselves from becoming like that, even I would even say this for conservative states, where conservatives have maybe 80%, or Republicans have 80% of the legislature or the political bodies. There needs to be dissent, there needs to be challenge, because if there's no competition between ideas,
it's an echo chamber.
Yeah, it's an echo chamber, and then eventually you just get you get people who are power hungry trying to drive through whatever they can. No, it doesn't matter which from which political spectrum they're from. They're gonna try to drive through certain things if they have the ability to do so. So any way we can keep,
They just want a bunch of woke mercenaries who will enforce the will of an increasingly Marxist-driven state.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
at the end of the day, yeah, it's just there needs to be some sort of balance in any system. Diversity is really the key to
Diversity of thought. Yes.
that. I mean, yeah, that's what democracy really is the fact that you shouldn't censor people and just let people believe what they want, and then at the end of the day, whoever agrees or whatever the majority that agrees, that's what's gonna happen. So.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that that particular legislation, as proposed for which it stands, runs absolutely, counter to the First Amendment, and if it was under the purview of the Supreme Court for landmark ruling, it would absolutely be eviscerated to the fullest extent. It's just I'm thinking that they're going to continue to do things along these lines, just to see how much they can test the water, how much they can actually get away with in their modum operandi of acting outside of the confines of the Constitution.
Well, I agree. It all goes back to the Democrats have full control. They don't need any sort of Republican minority to pass anything through. So if they don't have to, they're not going to ask, and they're not going to get any kind of bipartisanship work. And you end up having stuff like this passed. But anyways, we're gonna keep on rolling here. We're gonna get to some spicy stuff. So we're getting into some Trump stuff here. So obviously you guys probably know that Trump was kicked off Twitter, kicked off Facebook. So basically, what did I want to get out of here? So Mark Zuckerberg, he started to consider indefinitely suspending President Donald Trump's Facebook account late night of January 6th, hours after the Capitol riot, all that crap that happened. Top lieutenants, as you can see here, and the main thing I wanted to point out here was Zuckerberg said he had decided that Trump's attempts to incite violence and undermine the democratic process were grounds for an indefinite suspension. Not one voice, no one voiced a dissenting opinion, the people familiar with the call said. So there was nobody standing up for even Trump, who is a moderate Republican conservative. He is not some radical conservative. He might be rhetorically kind of radical, but policy-wise, was a very moderate president, in my opinion. And on this call, not a single person had a dissenting opinion to what Zuckerberg wanted to do to him, which is it's clear. It's clear what they're doing. They're all run by leftists. There is not a conservative or somebody even right of center on any of these boards, and they have complete power to just throw anybody with a dissenting opinion, in their opinion, off of their platforms. And this happened to the goddamn president, the sitting president of the United States. And we'll do another show on this, but what he did that day was not inciting violence. You go back and look at his videos. He said go down and march peacefully. He never called for them to incite any violence. He actually, it took him a while to release a video to tell him not to do it, which is probably his biggest mistake. But they threw him off for this, and not a single person dissented, saying that they shouldn't do that. There was no discipline within them. There was no sort of, we should think about the conservatives a little bit. No, there's nothing. They just threw him off. And it's amazing.
I think it's pretty terrifying how just the fact that, this clearly shows that at the end of the day, some of the biggest, corporate companies in our nation, they're really the ones that are controlling our country. When they can censor our own president who runs our country, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how is that even possible? I don't know.
It's a flex of power.
Exactly. So there has to be some sort of line that's drawn that basically depicts how much these companies can really do. I understand like being able to do what you want as a company and not you have that right to do what you want, but at the end of the day you shouldn't be able to censor your own president. That's in certain situations I could understand, but this is not that situation at all.
Yeah, exactly. And do you guys have anything else to add?
I mean, well, I mean, they digitally purged him from existence of the online world. I mean, I think they do that almost as a kind of a show of power to behead him and hold his head in front of all who wish to challenge the institution of, look what we can do to the sitting president. Look what we can do we can easily do this to you. It's almost meant to
Mm-hmm.
stifle their will to challenge a rotten system to its core, or system rotten to its
Mm-hmm.
core.
Yeah. And so I'm seeing the stream. This hasn't happened before. I think we're being throttled because my internet's working fine. Everything's working fine. I think somebody from Facebook is fucking with our stream right now. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish I could tell you I'm surprised. I wish I could tell you I'm
I
surprised.
wish you could say that, right? But
no issues like whatsoever.
yeah, even if you guys can't hear us, I'm still recording, so this whole episode's gonna be out. So I have the file, so people are gonna be able to see it. So even if Facebook tries to throttle us, we're gonna get this fucking episode out no matter what. Anyways.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they ain't stopping us until they throw us all the way off. They gotta fully ban us for us to shut up. And even then, we're gonna still post a BitChute. We're still gonna post to YouTube. We're gonna post everywhere we can.
Let's keep making accounts.
Yeah, keep making new accounts. Exactly. I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. All right. So let's keep on rolling here. So this is another thing that happened to Trump just a couple weeks ago. So one of his interviews got censored by Facebook, and I just wanted to read you guys the kind of statement that Fox News got from Facebook. So, story reads, Facebook removes video Trump interview with daughter-in-law Laura Trump. So Facebook permanently banned the former president in January after the Capitol riot. And this is what scares me right here. So Facebook removed an interview of the former president Donald Trump conducted by his daughter, saying any content in the voice of Donald Trump would be scrubbed from the social media platform. Scrubbed. Listen to that language. Scrubbed. It's fucking insane. A former president can't even voice his opinion on the platform from somebody else that's sharing it. Like that. If that doesn't give you, I don't know, chills in your body about how they're really trying to throw off any dissenting opinion. Anybody that's not with the orthodoxy, they went off. And of course, Trump was the
it's
biggest one.
Stalinist level history revision.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about it. You guys can, or what you guys have on this? Any following thoughts?
Just like normal people are just kind of getting indoctrinated into thinking this way. It's kind of sad. I see it everywhere. A whole bunch of people that we've grown up with, and it's not much of a place to think for themselves when they're so caught up with their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Especially revolving world issues. So they like to accept what is socially acceptable, and they go with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Like people that aren't
put down.
Yeah, people that aren't normal people that are apathetic. They don't have time to pay attention to politics every day, like us. You know, I watched 8 hours of news a day. I completely understand that a lot of people can't do that. But at the same time, they're not. They don't know what's going on. They by the time they figure out the mob is coming for them, it's too late. And that's really what we're trying to do with this podcast is get the information out there so that my friends and my family, they're not ignorant about this stuff. And even with the people who agree with the censorship, maybe you guys can have your mind opened up a little bit to what's really been going on. So I mean that the language they use here would be scrubbed from the social media platform. I couldn't believe that when I read that. That's the languaging is just it's getting really close to violence in my opinion. Like it's something's bad gonna happen because you can't do this without repercussions. Every action has a reaction. Newton's law of physics. It happens in the physical science realm, and it happens in the human emotional realm, and it's going to happen. If you push these people into a corner, they're going to lash out, and it's going to happen eventually. I think that's the goal of them, of what they're trying to do right now. They want to make conservatives so angry that they lash out so that they can censor them even more. And it's just a really hard position for conservatives or libertarians or anybody that has a dissenting opinion to the left right now. But anyways,
so badly to the extent where it's going to kind of instill the belief that there's no actual political solution to being able to kind of return to a fair playing ground.
mhm,
I mean, at the end of the day, too, that's why, you know, like, being able to own a gun is such an important thing.
exactly.
I
Because go ahead.
There's a lot of people in this country that are conservative, and if they're gonna keep trying to do this until we do snap, it's gonna be terrible. Like, nobody
Mhm.
wants to go that, that deep
No,
into it.
violence is always, the last resort. And even then, it should be used with, lots of, discipline and caution, and
It's just
uh,
it's a complex situation, but it is kind of scary, kind of the way that things are going and the way that they've been going for the past 4 or 5 years.
yeah, exactly. But anyways, we're gonna go to the next couple things. So this is a big story. So you guys probably all heard about Parler. So the Parler was an app for conservatives. Their main thing was holding up freedom of speech. So here's the story. Parler has now been booted by Amazon, Apple, and Google, and this was back all the way back in January 11th because of the Capitol riots and whatnot. So Parler, the alternative social media platform favored by conservatives, now finds itself virtually homeless on the internet as Amazon, Apple, and Google have all booted it from their platforms in a span of little more than 24 hours. And if that doesn't show you how connected all these big companies are, I don't know what can. Like, these people are all on the same side. Amazon, Apple, Google, they're all these big tech Silicon Valley leftist hubs, and they were getting challenged by Parler. A lot of people from Twitter were moving over, and they were like, no, we can't have this competition. So they shut it down. In less than 24 hours, they all colluded to get rid of it. And when I was going over this article, I was thinking, this almost be like an antitrust kind of thing, because they're directly destroying one of their competitors while they have the power to do that, and it's just completely wrong, because I had a Parler account. I had moved over there just in case, my Facebook ever got deleted. And now it's gone. There's literally nowhere there's not really a social media platform right now that conservatives can escape to.
Telegram is probably one of the best places
Telegram's
to be right
coming
now.
up, but it's not the same. It's
not a very dynamic social platform. That's the only thing about it.
It's literally not the same. Like Facebook, you scroll, you get all these opinions. It's very intuitive. I really like Facebook and its style. And Parler was trying to copy Twitter and the Facebook style, because that's how we kind of communicate now on the internet, is through these through the technology of social media. And they just completely they scrubbed Donald Trump from Facebook. They scrubbed Parler from the internet. And now I think Parler came back, but they're still not allowed on any app stores. So it's basically dead, which is just really sad. But this is just it's all ramping up to the fact, what do they want conservatives to do? They're really trying to poke a bear, and it's like, I would never advocate for any violence, but like that's what they're pushing for, and we shouldn't be throwing these people into a corner of the internet. We need to bring everybody together on these platforms and have robust discussions and robust arguments about how we go forward. Because if we don't have a good dissenting opinion, then, like I said, with what's happening in California, what happened in China, you're just gonna have people who have all the power ramming through exactly what they want, and us little people, we're not gonna have any say in it at all. And that's really where we're getting to. And Parler was one platform where people could speak out, and not be worried about being thrown off of the freaking platform.
So, what if does Parler have their own website?
Yeah, so
like people sign up and go through that. I mean, that's what I'm wondering, because it's not like you have to use a phone to necessarily access this platform.
Yeah, so what happened at first is, so they were running off of the Amazon servers. So once Amazon said that they violated their terms of service, they were thrown off of you couldn't even access the website. They had to go find a new server. I don't know who they're serving on now, but basically they're not on any.
I heard it was like
stores.
a Russian server.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we have to go through. Let's just say Parler went to like, some sketchy shit like the dark web. So
mhm,
they're gonna try to track down some conservative social media platform and try to kill that over all of these other sick websites that are out there. That's a joke.
mhm.
I can't believe that. I mean, sorry, that's just that bugs me. But
I mean, it's hilarious because I think Reddit did something incredibly similar to on that regard when there was the whole super straight campaign that was going on. I mean, they erased that from the subreddits, and there was all this egregious, all kinds of other types of subreddits that they were untouched.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they literally would, as asinine as that sounds, they literally would walk past a bunch of other insanely egregious type materials to in their deranged pursuit to
Mhm.
constrain dissident viewpoint.
Mhm.
They really would.
Yeah. It's sick. But anyways, let's keep moving on here. We're almost through everything here. So we're gonna get over to the Steven Crowder, and it looks like Facebook is finally throwing us off. I don't think we're live anymore, but like I said, we're gonna get this episode up no matter what.
Damn.
I hope we didn't just get zucked, dude, and hopefully not. But
sucked.
anyways, yeah.
It's an inevitable.
If you
Yeah.
so if you refresh the page, it's usually fine. You just have to keep refreshing it though. I don't know.
Is it live? I think it's. I tried to see, and it looks like it's full not live anymore. It's kind of, I don't know. Anyways, let's keep going here. We'll get the video up. So basically, Steven Crowder, he's a very prominent conservative commentator and comedian, and YouTube demonetizes Steven Crowder again. This happened last week. So basically, as they said, in order to monetize on YouTube, channels must comply with YouTube partner program policies, which include our community guidelines, Google policies, and advertiser guidelines, blah, 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 all this stuff that basically Google and YouTube are making excuses for because Crowder says, I've been warning about this for a long time and now it's here. Today, Google, YouTube just fired a huge shot across our bow. They are no longer enforcing community guidelines, but are creating entirely new ones with the express purpose of removing any and all conservative voices of dissent. And they gave the reasoning to throw him off because I think he messed up just a little detail when he was checking voter rolls in Nevada for an election anomalies. And they went back, changed policies, and basically they have him thrown off now. And the next thing, they completely removed him from the partner program, so he's not available. They took down a couple of his videos, and they also aren't allowing him to post, basically indefinitely. They say he's going to be back in about a week, but we're just going to have to see. So YouTube, they say here, YouTube has officially suspended Steven Crowder's main channel from the YouTube Partner Program indefinitely, which includes removing his ability to run ads. So he can't run ads, he can't post, he can't do anything right now, basically, and he can't make any money from YouTube anymore. Which is fucking, ridiculous. He's one of the biggest he is the biggest conservative commentator other than maybe Ben Shapiro on the platform. And they're throwing him off because they're changing their little things and they have their leftist opinion. And they just, this is all my opinion, but I think it all lines up to everything that we've been talking about today. They're just trying to get rid of anybody that has a dissenting opinion, and especially Crowder because he's one of the biggest dissenting opinions. He won't, if you watch his show, he doesn't deal with any shit from YouTube, dude. Like, of course he tries to stay within policies and whatnot, but he has a right to speak. And there are such worse things on YouTube than political commentary that are being left up when conservative commentary is being just taken down for just completely asinine reasons. But did you guys have anything to add on the Steven Crowder debacle?
Steven Crowder is a really cool dude. I actually have a lot of friends who were somewhat centrist who actually were drawn over to the conservative side just as a result of just how relatable and just how cool somebody like Steven Crowder is, and he's especially admirable in his his relative ability. He's very very reticent to conform to the a lot of the standards of the left to which they want him to say. He's just not going to do it, and they're going to remove him just as easily as they did Trump.
Yeah.
But those community standards, I would I doubt he even really knows why he's even being removed. There's no objective standard that they're placing upon the members of the YouTube community. It's entirely subjective,
Mm-hmm.
and it's rooted in malintent.
Yep.
It's very subjective and malicious.
That's all it is. It's all subjectivity. There's no objective policy that they're following. It's just all subjective opinion. And just because he doesn't follow their opinion, the left hates Steven Crowder, and that's why they want him gone, in my opinion. But did you guys have anything to add on that, Harry or Brody?
I was just gonna say that. I mean, 2 years ago, YouTube was like probably the last place that you could probably post things, and like as far as like political or like whatever, putting out your voice into whatever. I feel like YouTube was probably one of the last platforms that you could do that, and they wouldn't get rid of you. I mean, Twitch has been doing this for a long time. They will ban you for anything, but the fact that we're seeing this now with YouTube, it's just scary to me. I mean,
yeah. Soon there won't be a single conservative voice left, and Crowder's was the biggest one. What happens to all the smaller channels? They're gonna be gone without a fucking wince. They're gone.
I mean,
well, sorry, I was just gonna say. I mean, we were talking about this a little bit before the stream, but a big thing for me too is like when COVID first came out, and we didn't have any vaccine, we had nothing, and there was these doctors that they're medical professionals, they have their degrees, they have their certifications, and they're making YouTube videos basically saying like, hey, this hydrochloroquine has been working pretty well for our patients, and their YouTube videos are just getting deleted. Like they're getting banned from YouTube. Why is that a thing? Like, if you're on your deathbed because you have a virus that doesn't have a cure, why wouldn't you want to try something? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Didn't Trump sign a legal right to try bill in his tenure?
Yeah, they probably got rid of that though. Biden, getting rid of all of the executive orders. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, you can go take, test things for Botox that might kill you, but you can't take a drug that has been, had good results and killed people. Like, I don't know. And then just ban the entire idea from YouTube. That's just... Yeah.
It shows you how desperate they're becoming in their censorship and their propaganda. They know they're on the ropes right now, in my opinion. And I think they're doing everything they can to make their opinion seem like it's the only right opinion, And it's just sad. But yeah, we're gonna keep going on. We got a couple more. Get over to some Joe Rogan stuff. This will be a quick one, but basically Spotify we finally found out that they did censor some episodes. So here's the story. Joe Rogan finally admits that Spotify did indeed censor his podcast, claims they aren't telling him what he can do, and we'll just read his statement here. So there were a few episodes they didn't want on their platform, and I was like, okay, I don't care. But other than that, in the terms of what I do in the future, the big test was having Alex Jones on. A lot of people are like, they're telling Joe Rogan what he can and can't do. They're not. So that was Joe Rogan's statement, and I think he needs to be a little bit more on this, because I think he needs to care a little bit more about his older podcast being removed, because that's his product. That's him. Like that's the whole reason he does his thing, and they're just removing his product, because of controversial figures, like Owen Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, Milo Yiannopoulos. Obviously, Alex Jones is a big one, and they're scrubbing these episodes they scrub these episodes from Spotify, and it's good to hear.
Tim Pool too.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know they got rid of the Tim Pool episode.
Some of his episodes are getting shadow banned, and he's been demonetized for a lot of the content that his own content he's put up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's just. Well, Tim, he fights against it, but I think Joe, he doesn't understand how bad this is, that he should have cared a lot more. He should have drawn a line with these people and say, no, that's my product. These are my podcasts. You're not going to throw them off the platform. I'm going to go somewhere else, I
think it's because Joe Rogan is neither really left nor is he really too right. He's really
he's moderate.
He's kind of a centrist libertarian, if I could really describe him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a position where I personally used to be in. And one of the reasons that I personally moved over more to the right is that, there's some cultural problems worth challenging that staying dead in the center isn't really going to, or at least thinking in those terms, isn't all that pragmatic and seeing, who's pulling the strings and what's going on in terms of these problems.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys have anything else to add on Rogan, Brody, or Harry?
That would just be like if I got famous off all my music and stuff and started taking away my past work. I don't know. That's just stripping what you built yourself up to be. And it's basically erasing what you are and what people know you as. So you're replacing that with the civilized social agenda, in a sense.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, if you want to just sell your soul.
Right. I mean, he did get $1 billion from that contract with Spotify, so I don't know. Maybe $1 billion is worth a little censorship. I don't know. I might censor myself a little bit if I got $1 billion, but maybe not. Maybe I'd be principled enough to not. But $1 billion is a lot of money, so
I don't know.
I don't even know how much that is.
Yeah, right. But anyway, something that's super relevant. Okay, so we're going to get into some personal stuff here. So basically, our account, the Cerebral Spice Rack account, so we've been throttled and we've been blocked from doing things. And you guys can see from this episode, this is the first episode, the episode we're talking about censorship, it's the first one that gets fucking shadow banned by Facebook. This has never happened before where they just take down our freaking posts. Obviously, this isn't like... They're trying to make it look like it's just a technical error. Oh, I hate this shit, dude. Because this is the first time this happened. There's nothing wrong with my connection. Everything's... I have an Ethernet cable in.
I remember when they were doing with the Kyle Rittenhouse donation links, and when you would go to donate, they would say, "Oh, sorry, I think it was GoFundMe. GoFundMe was saying, sorry, technical error."
Yep.
And then we came to find that they actually just scrubbed it and hidden and censored the whole thing. They're doing the same thing to you.
Exactly.
With Cerebral Spice Rack, unfortunately.
You can see it right here. So all I did was I ran a couple ads on our videos. I just wanted to get our videos out there. I wanted I wanted a couple more views. And they restricted my account, and they didn't tell me why. No explanation. I have to request the review. I had to sorry, I have to let my cat out. He's,
Is that Mr. Kitty?
freaking cat.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse's GoFundMe. They made it look like a technical error, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's your internet connection is bad," and they had removed it.
But there's literally no other reason than our personal opinions why these are being why my account got restricted in the first place. We're just talking here. We're literally just talking, and they and you guys can see they restricted my account. I can't use or manage ads. I can't create or run ads. Can't manage advertising assets. Disabled assets are my personal ad account and my audience. It's fucking ridiculous.
I wonder how the hell they would know that we're running countercurrent to what it is that they want us to say. They have to have an agent.
Well, somebody's watching.
An algorithm rope.
Somebody watches. Well, somebody watches the live videos. There's somebody watching live videos to make sure there's no nudity because they can take those down immediately.
Yes.
So live videos are being watched. So obviously somebody at Facebook, they're seeing our stuff. And I can't tell you we're just talking. We're literally just talking.
It's some jackass liberal moderator in the Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Restrict my account.
Ban hammer.
Yeah. So I requested a review. We'll see what they say, but it's just ridiculous. All I did was run ads to get some more views on our videos.
One way to get around it, which, I mean, this is, again, we shouldn't even have to be going this route, but, like, use this Facebook page as basically like almost like a portal, and then every single time stream have somebody else do it live. Like go through somebody else's account. You could stream it on yours. You just have to have their Facebook live key, and then you put that in, and it would go on their account.
Yeah.
And, like they're not just gonna keep chasing us, and if they are, then that's just.
They will.
You should also try streaming on BitChute. Have you ever heard of BitChute?
We put our stuff up on BitChute. We live stream to Facebook because we have the biggest reach, biggest audience, that's the main reason we do Facebook, because we only have 8 subscribers on YouTube. We don't have any on BitChute, although our videos do get a good amount of views on BitChute.
Jesus. So to no avail, you guys have not been able to evade persecution.
No,
from
no.
any platform.
I knew
That's
this was gonna
fucked up,
happen.
man.
You can go back to the previous episodes. We talk about it constantly, like, oh, when are we gonna get zucked, you know? And look, it finally happened on the fucking censorship episode, dude. It's so fucking ironic.
As
God
if to exaggerate
damn.
a point.
Exaggerate, exactly, dude. Oh my god, it proves our fucking point, dude. Like, they're literally proving our point. It's fucking amazing.
Let's go fight.
Oh my god.
But anyways, did you guys have any personal accounts of? Have you guys ever been censored by Facebook or any big tech platforms?
And I would say I was one of the first pioneers on Facebook to have acquired 30-day ban zucks at a time back in 2017. I had a meme page that got really big in late 2017, and it climbed overnight. It had 3,000. I woke up at 6,000. It was 9,000, 11,000. I was like, holy shit, man! It kept climbing, and they removed it, and they gave me a series of 7 30-day bans, or a 7-day ban, then a 30-day ban. That's when I was running a meme page. So they went after the memes first, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's when Liberty memes got taken down. Liberty memes got taken down. What? 2018, I think.
2018. Yeah, they were doing a mass purge. They took down Libertarian page. They took down a Free Thought Project. I think they even took down Copwatch.
Yep.
Copwatch.
Oh, I forgot about Copwatch, dude. Fuck.
Facebook should go try to like cook some toast in their bathtub or something. Like I hate
Right.
Facebook.
They're just So this is what we need to get back to. Or actually, Harry, did you have anything to add on the personal account of being censored?
Well, honestly, I want to put this in being an artist. I've always had to watch what I say being like a public figure. That being said, a big example is Twitter. So if you excuse my language, if you are a person that says something wrong, or if you do something that society or people on Twitter could get their hands a hold of,
The leftist mob, dude.
They will dig deep, and they will send people to your house to fix the problem, whatever it is. An example of this was Ghastly is a big DJ artist. He lost his crow. It went missing. It flew away, and apparently he posted it on Twitter. A couple days passes. People dug deep, and they ended up finding this person's crow, finding it, flying across town. People spotted it. It ended up being at this person's house. And I don't know, there's some misconceptions over either the person saying they have Ghastly's bird, but they're not going to give it to him, and or that I don't know, that they're going to give it to.
So how does this relate to censorship, Harry?
I think more or less it comes into cancel culture. That's what it comes back to, because they could cancel a person in general, and they could hunt them down, and the person's account ends up being more or less things they post being targeted by people. That's what it comes back to.
Yeah.
Everyone's just trying to get something out of anything that they can. Taking advantage of a situation.
Yeah, but okay, so I think I'm gonna get through these last two ones here, because this is the big one. This is one of the last ones to wrap it up, and then we're gonna get into.
Oh yeah, they also censored my gun rights pages.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Bastards. Well, of course they censor the gun rights pages. Of course.
Yeah. But anyway.
But anyway, so even NBC News, they say big tech has big power over online speech. Should it be reined in? And they say there are few, if any, legal challenges to the power Twitter and other tech companies wield over online speech. So basically, so they say these companies have become so bold because they're limited shockingly little. So every time you think of an angle that might be restrained upon their moderation conduct, it turns out to be a non-starter. maybe that's not what I wanted to read. But basically, they acknowledge how much power the big tech has, and they go into the argument that Section 230 of the Communications Act needs to be reformed, which is my opinion on this whole thing. I don't think we need to, I don't know, be fining or be taking down Facebook or fully getting rid of Section 230. We need to be reforming Section 230, which differentiates the role that a platform and a publisher serve on the internet. So these websites, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, they're supposed to be platforms that anybody can use. Well, maybe not Amazon, but definitely Facebook and Twitter. They're supposed to be platforms where people can voice their opinion, as long as they're not inciting violence. Of course, you already know my opinion on the Trump thing. He didn't incite violence. And they're really they're taking advantage of their platform status because they're actively being a publisher and curating what's on their site. They're scrubbing and they're getting rid of opinions they just don't like, and that's not what a platform does. That's what a publisher does. And if these companies had to go under the regulations and the laws of being a publisher, then they wouldn't have all these protections from the government. They would be able to be held liable for a lot of the things that are said on their account. So they're having their cake and they're eating it too, which is one way to say it. They need to be reined in, or Section 230 needs to be reined in, so that these platforms can actually be platforms as defined by Section 230, which is I think that's the main solution right now.
So
they cannot reap the benefits of being protected by law as an open platform and continue to act like publishers. That's essentially
exactly
the cake and eating it too.
So I think the weirdest thing that stands out to me the most is there are few, if any, legal challenges. How come? Okay, if there are few, if any, legal challenges, how come this is an issue, but like taking away our gun rights is not like that? Like that's not a challenge. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, you
already know why.
That's your conservative bias showing right there. They hate it. They hate it.
It is okay. I don't really even like to call myself a conservative, but like I've just gone. It's just everything has gotten so split in half that it's
Well, they're making you pick a side, which is just it's trash, dude. Because there's nuance to every issue. You need to really take all the facts in. Yeah, polarization. They're trying
political climate.
Because they want violent acts to happen so that they can clamp down even harder. That's really what they're pushing for, in my opinion, is for people to get violent because they don't have a voice, so that they can enact even stronger censorship powers, and get more power. Like that's, in my opinion, that's their whole goal, what they're trying to push towards. But basically,
and the media will help them plentifully.
Exactly.
Mainstream media.
But basically, we're gonna wrap it up here with what the Biden administration is going to do. I'm not thrilled with what they're gonna do. I'm not excited because obviously the people in big tech are leftists, and Biden, they were kind of the candidate that they wanted to see in, and they kind of hit the nail on the nose with this. So basically, what was he saying? Okay. So this is the main thing I wanted to read. So why is this being like this? So Silicon Valley and many of its leading figures' support for Biden made many fear the worst. If my industry is going to be regulated, at least let it be done by a candidate I have made major donations to, and who will possibly treat me better. Which is, of course, Biden's going to be treating these tech companies a lot better than Trump ever would. They're on the same side. Like, how are you going to pass policy that affects them in a negative light, that affects them to be more like platforms, when you have the person that you pushed for in the White House that has all the power? It's like the leftists have all the power. The media, the political power. I don't know. I'm mincing my words, but basically they have
Hollywood,
all of the social power. Yeah, they have. Yeah, exactly. They have everything. Conservatives, they don't do anything. Like Tim Pool always says, they don't do anything. They don't fight for anything, and now they don't have any power to do anything. So it's like
Dave Rubin, especially, he was also a champion of the idea that many on the conservative side need to be able to learn how to fight. Enough of this show theater of talking about, impending doom is coming. and not actually doing anything
Yeah.
about it. You know,
Exactly.
they got to know how to put on the gloves, and they have to know what they're up against. And I think, I personally believe that a lot of the conservative politicians and pundits often don't exactly know what kind of ideology they face. This is serious stuff, man.
It is, because, I mean, you can see with what just happened to our stream. We got taken down, you know? And of course, you know, we're a small little channel, but, you know, if it can happen to the biggest guys, it can for sure happen to us. And they're going to get rid of any dissenting opinion they can until it's... They're pushing towards a one-party, one-culture system. And it's fucking...
I mean, digitally, it was tantamount to beheading Trump and holding his head in front of the crowd, just as a sign of, you know, why your will to resist their system should be stifled, you know, because this will happen to you. Look what we did to him, a sitting president. You know, we could easily crush you like a pencil.
Yep. And I don't know. Did you guys have anything to wrap up the podcast, Brody or Harry?
Yes, I need to.
Or you, Chris?
I need. Oh, sorry, man. I need to make a very specific point. A lot of people like to point to Joe Biden as if he's some kind of a mastermind, and I think the sooner you realize he's just a guy with dementia who doesn't know where he is, what he's doing, you know, what his name is, and you realize it's really more about the people that are pulling his strings that are you know, collectively bringing
making
together
the decisions. I don't think it's Biden either. Biden's just the figurehead for all of their policies. It's a continuation.
Right, they're culminating. They're orchestrating the chorus, the people that are pulling his strings. I think we can all laugh at Joe Biden and call him an idiot, and you know, whatever. It doesn't. He's just a huge smokescreen, man. That's kind of, people need to understand that. It's not even. I feel sorry for the dude. He's just, you know, he doesn't know really what he's being used as part of.
Yeah.
He's just a marionette.
Yeah. But any wrapping up thoughts, Brody or Harry?
More or less, I guess we make these videos to fight the cancel culture.
Yeah.
And I'll end it with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be really interesting to see how things progress, you know, in the next year, and how much more censorship's going to be pushed down on us, or if, you know, just what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to, you know, maybe ease off of it because there's less political tension, considering that now Biden's in, you know, in office. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what's going to go on, but I hope that, you know, we continue to, you know, believe just having our freedom that that we've had in the past. So that's kind of my final thoughts on it. But
yeah, and just to wrap it up for me, you know, I really believe that censorship is bad, cancel culture is bad. We need to have as many opinions out there as possible. So even the really radical, you know, freaking Mein Kampf from Hitler, we need to be able to read books like that so we know what's wrong. And because the more you censor, the more you erase history, the more we're gonna have to repeat all this history again, and that's not progress. That is the antithesis of progress in human society. So we need to leave things up, not cancel things, not censor things, leave everything up, and let the public decide what's best. And I think the public and most people will decide, you know, on the right things. I think most people have a good moral compass. And I think, you know, I think we can make decisions for ourselves, you know, what's right and what's wrong. And I think the more you censor stuff, the more you push it away and you cause people to radicalize, and it's not good for our society. But anyways,
Exactly.
That's episode 7. Looks like we got, you know, throttled and zucked for the first time, but of course it happens on our censorship episode. But we'll be back freaking next week or the week after for, you know, we'll get the next topic going. Don't know what it's going to be yet, but we'll get it together. But anyways, I hope everybody has a good night, and we'll be getting this episode up so you guys can see the full episode everywhere. And have a good one.